This One News update is brought to you by ANZ. We live in your world.
Critics say the government's policy of free contraception for beneficiaries is insulting and amounts to social engineering. $1 million is being set aside for the plan over the next 4 years. Lisa Owen's been on the streets getting reaction.
Beneficiary and mother of one, Sherez Tohu, believes as well as making welfare policy, the government's making big assumptions.
That we're dumb, that we're stupid, that we don't know what we're doing, that we just open our legs for whatever man comes along. And it's not like that. I planned my daughter.
The government's budgeted $1 million for long-term contraceptives like implants and IUDs just for beneficiaries and their daughters if they're aged between 16 and 19.
The important point here is it's voluntary, it's totally reversible.
The scheme's part of welfare changes aimed at reducing the almost 100,000 solo parents on the domestic purposes benefit. But opponents say it's plain old beneficiary bashing and dangerously close to social engineering.
Steps like this are actually going down the direction of the government saying, well, if you're on a benefit and you get pregnant, you should have an abortion, you should have forced sterilisation. I know they haven't gone that far, but this is the first dangerous step on that road.
The Prime Minister says work and income case officers will raise the subject with women on benefits.
This is a matter between a woman and her doctor, not between a woman and a caseworker.
Some beneficiaries One News spoke to say they may have made different choices if they'd been offered free contraception.
I actually think it's a good idea because, you know, younger people do need that choice. I think it's a good choice.
I've tried to find work. I've really tried, and I'm still trying to this day. But there's no point in the government trying to take away, like, me having another baby just because I can't find work.
But all agreed, all women, not just beneficiaries, should be offered free contraception. Lisa Owen, One News.
This One News update is brought to you by ANZ. We live in your world.
Close Up is brought to you by the Kia Sorento R, redefining the power of Kia.
The government's plan to spend $1 million offering free long-term contraceptives to female beneficiaries and their daughters has ignited a storm of protest with claims it's indulging in social engineering and beneficiary bashing all in one go. Joining me now, Sharon Wilson-Davis. Now, she was part of the welfare working group which came up with the policy, and a former solo mum herself who says she's seen the human waste and generational poverty caused by unplanned babies, and the critics should leave off. And Sue Bradford from Auckland Action Against Poverty, who says Sharon Wilson-Davis's ideas border on fascism. They both join me now. Are you a fascist?
I don't think so, Mark.
But to many, including Sue, the ideas of coming up with this, it's somewhere where a government shouldn't be going.
Well, I oppose that. I think that the government has to go there with the statistics that we're seeing. For me, out in South Auckland, you know, half of all teenage pregnancies are Māori in Pacifica, and 41% of DPB are Māori. And I want to see a system where it's based on investing in our people so that they can reach their full potential, and we're not seeing that now.
Sue, she's saying investing in people, not social engineering.
Yeah, but that can mean anything, like Sharon's talking about. I've got huge issues with the investment in long-term reversible contraception for women beneficiaries, and now we discover not only the beneficiaries themselves but their daughters, as I see it very much as being the first step on a slippery road to eugenics, where the state interferes in women's reproductive rights and our ability to control our reproduction. Now, of course, the Minister is being very careful to say this is voluntary. I accept that, but the problem is that in the Department of Work and Income, when you're a beneficiary in there trying to get a benefit, trying to keep a benefit, you are totally at the mercy of those case officers.
So you're saying if someone goes in for a benefit, they will feel obliged.
Yes,
is this what you're saying?
There'll be enormous pressure exerted on women to go for this contraception. When you put it alongside a policy which says that if you have a baby while you're on the benefit, doesn't matter what age, this isn't just young women, it's all women of childbearing age, if you have a baby while you're on a benefit, you're going to have to be work tested from the time that baby is 1 year old. So these are two policies that go together from a government which is basically saying we do not want women on benefits breeding. Now, I call that eugenics and state intervention in women's reproductive lives.
OK, Sharon, there is that fear, though, isn't there, that someone will go in, if it's not spelled out, that at least it's left hanging there, you want the benefit, get on the long-term contraception.
Look, I don't believe that that's WIN's role, and community organisations such as ours would never let that happen. I don't think there's any government that would ever be in power in this country that would be stupid enough to do that. I mean, this is another option, and it's a more viable option when you're looking at young people, and I deal with them all the time. They haven't enough structure in their lives in order to look at taking a daily contraceptive. I think this is just far easier, and shouldn't we be looking at prevention?
But are you saying that the young women who are in this situation, or let's deal with the young ones, they wouldn't pay or wouldn't get contraception themselves, they'll only do it if the state provides it?
I think, you know, with financial circumstances of many today, I think it's absolutely correct. I mean, if you can get a contraceptive that's paid for and you have it inserted in your arm and it lasts you 5 years, isn't that better than having to take a pill every day and forgetting it, which often we do?
So also, when you'd be aware as well, there is the misery that is caused in many lives by unplanned pregnancies, and they get onto a vicious cycle.
You know that.
Well, I think that this is all feeding the beneficiary bashing myth that all solo mothers are in these terrible circumstances, that they're not bringing up their children well. Sharon and I have both been on the benefit, bringing up children. I understand. I spent years on the DPB. I understand. The Minister has, because many women in this country have spent some time in their lives on the benefit, does not mean that we are bad mothers, that our children have been brought up poorly. Why should beneficiary women suddenly have the state interfering in their reproductive lives? Are we saying to rich women that somehow the state should? Of course we aren't. It's only beneficiary women that are being attacked and patronised in this way.
But isn't it only people in that... Sorry.
It's an option, Sue. It's only an option, and I think a far better and more effective option than what our rangatahi are seeing right now.
Can I raise one thing here? Because we're talking about women in this situation. What about the deadbeat dads? Why shouldn't they be offered a chance of a vasectomy to stop them bringing more kids who aren't going to be looked after into this world?
They're not being mentioned, are they?
That could be next. Who knows?
But I actually don't think the state should be interfering eugenically with men either.
But doesn't the state interfere? We have family planning is funded by the state.
Absolutely.
In vitro programs are funded by the state. The state is involved in offering opportunities.
Yeah, but not in this way, not in targeting one segment of the population. And I believe we will have working income officers pressuring women through various means to go through this long-term contraception. That's the problem. I absolutely think family planning should have more funding. It would be great if all people could get free contraception that needed it.
We do have to go. I want to know what you think, the people who will be offered this, what their reaction is going to be.
I've already gauged that within our organisation, within our training arm and my solo parents program. And they're really looking forward to being able to take advantage of this. So you leave it to New Zealand. I mean, I believe that this is about prevention. An option for prevention.
Sharon Wilson-Davis, Sue Bradford, thank you both for your time tonight.
Thank you, Sue. Thanks, Mark.